Good morning, Unity community. My name is Deb Philby, and I am the Communications and Volunteer Coordinator here at UCOP. And if you are joining us this morning on Facebook, on YouTube, if you are joining us here in our beautiful sanctuary space at PlexPod, making this service possible, whether you are on the staff or one of our volunteers, welcome to our service this morning. I will be joining Reverend Jackie. She will be continuing her series on love and miracles. Today we will be fishing for more. We will be fishing for miracles. And so I have come prepared. I have my fishing rod and I have a bobber on the top, a bright bobber, because you know what? I don't want to miss any of those miracles. So I want to pay attention when they're coming my way. So I'm ready and I'm excited to hear what Jackie has to say. Also joining us today are Patrick Andrus and Tiffany Crabtree, and Joan Priola on our slides. Lona Davis has helped us today with our setup and our teardown. We have the wonderful Kelly Hunt and Al Berman on sound. Fred Albers, also our music director. So we are just going to have an absolutely fabulous Sunday here, and we have Terry Sturgeon as our interpreter. So welcome everyone. In Unity, we honor all paths to God. We believe that all people are born in original blessing, and we honor and affirm people of all creed and color, ability, sexual orientation, and gender expression. We preach, teach, and believe in your wholeness as a beloved child of God, and we value the gift of diversity in this world. We come together each week to remember and remind each other who and whose we are. We light the Christ candle that symbolizes the Christ light always present and brightly shining in each of us. And so as we behold the light that we are, let us affirm one of Unity's foundational statements of truth. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good.
And now let us read our vision, a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And our future space affirmation, we are grateful for our new spiritual home that empowers us to fulfill our mission.
Everybody, here we go. Please join us in singing We Let It Be. Yeah. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love, we let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace, we let the peace wash over us. Oh yes, we do. We let it be. We let the peace, we let the peace wash over us. We let joy, joy, joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We wash the joy, we feel the joy, we are the joy. We let the joy wash over us. Oh, that's right. We let it be. We let the love, love, love. We let the love wash over us. Oh, we let it be. We let the love, love, love. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Oh, we let it be.
Our daily word for today, Sunday, April 18th. The word for today is pray for others. With mind and heart, I know the truth for each person I hold in prayer. A friend, someone said, knows the truth for you until you can know it for yourself. Praying for friends, family members, and those I haven't met, I center my awareness in the truth that each one for whom I pray is a living expression of God, just as I am. Letting go of fear, I release thoughts of lack, illness, disharmony, or any limitation. I see each person for whom I pray abundantly blessed. I see each one warmed and comforted by divine love that lifts their hearts and brings harmony to their relationships. I affirm their abundant living, guided by divine love, wisdom, and understanding. I see each life unfolding in perfect divine order, enjoying security, health, and joy. And the verse for today is, I will pray with the Spirit, but I will pray with the mind also. I will sing praise with the Spirit, but I will sing praise with the mind also. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 15.
Knowing that this morning we are gathered in spirit, in mind, in heart. So for those here in the room together and those tuning in via live stream, we are one unity community. For those unity communities gathered all across the nation and around the world this morning, services that have already completed, those that are currently underway, and those that will begin soon. We are all of one mind, one voice, one presence. That one holy presence in the universe, animating each and every one of us individually and collectively. So we lift ourselves into that voice of love, into that voice of truth, knowing that we are the truth knowers, we are the truth bringers, the light bearers for each other and for the world. And so on this Sunday before Earth Day, we bless the planet with our knowing of truth, with our presence of love, compassion, commitment, and faith that we can be the truth knowers that are the presence of healing for this planet, for this earth we call home. So for this knowing, we give thanks for one another. We give thanks and for the power of truth in us, the power of faith in us and as us. We give thanks. And so it is. Amen. So now is the time in our service when we bless our love offerings. So for those of you who are at home, if you might be writing checks or getting ready to log in to our Tithely app online, ucop.org/giving, I invite you to take your giving into consciousness with gratitude, with hearts wide open. We thank you for your generosity that allows our Unity community, Unity Church of Overland Park, to thrive, even in these challenging times. And we speak our love offering blessing together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am joy-filled and grateful. And I want to bring your attention, I'm sure if you've been paying attention to your e-news and to our announcements, you have already taken time to go to our website and enter your new updated. You may be thinking to yourself, I don't have new updated contact information, but believe you me, you might. So we're asking everybody, whether you've been in attendance at Unity Church of Overland Park for 20 plus years, or whether you've just been straggling along maybe over the last few months, we invite you to go to the website and fill that out. And here's why. We will soon be having our annual meeting at the end of June, and you will want to vote, and we won't know who our membership roster consists of unless we have your updated information. Now, along with the excitement of the annual meeting is the knowing that we will be electing new board members. So we have a few spots open, four spots open. And so if you, listening with your heart, are feeling the call of Spirit to step forward in leadership for our community, don't run from that call. Instead, go to the website and fill out the application. It is not as scary as it sounds. You will not be vetted in any kind of intimidating, scary way, but it will be a process that you'll be invited into to help discern if this is the right next step for you at this time. And then we will go through the process of having our election at the end of June at our annual meeting. So listen to the voice that's calling you into leadership. Listen, listen, listen. We have already had some people respond, and that is really exciting to me. It is a sign of our prosperity and our abundance as a community. So we invite you into that. And speaking of prosperity and abundance and thriving as a community, how about our music today? Thank you, the goddess Kelly Hunt. And now she's going to bring us her song, Miracle. Thank you, Kelly.
You've been standing in the rain for such a long time, walking the lonesome road, wondering if you can ever mend, carrying such an unbearable load. When the dark clouds drifted down into your heart, and all you could do was pray. And how could you know the skies would clear and love would find a way? Round rainbow is called a glory, and what you survive in life is called a story. You only see the arc of it after the storm. miracle, you've got to hold on. The workaday miracle is where you belong, where you belong. Glory. Hold on, hold on. The workaday miracle is where you belong, where you belong. A round rainbow is called a glory. What you survive in life is called a story. You only see the arc of it after the storm. To see the whole miracle, you've got to hold on. The workaday miracle is where you belong. It's where you belong. Workaday miracle is where you belong, where you belong. Hold on, hold on.
Thank you, Kelly Hunt. I love those lyrics. I've been listening to that song a lot this week. Workaday miracle. I had to look up workaday to make sure I really understood what the message was. And it just is so perfect, so perfect. We are always surrounded by miracles. Now, fishing, for some, is a miracle. Catching fish might be a miracle. I have very little fishing experience in my life. I'm a city girl, but we had some conversation this week, and the staff, I think, were a little worried about what I might bring in as a prop. Thank you for bringing the fishing pole. But I think they were worried that I might bring fish and, never knowing what to expect, or I might show up in waders. And, and that's because I like to be authentic with the talks and with our learning and our explorations that we have. So, in fact, yesterday, this city girl, went fishing. Thank you. And, boy, early on a Saturday morning, I get up. I, of course, don the proper attire, borrowed some waders from someone who's much taller than me. So I put on some waders and went out. No fishing license. Details, right? I'm not a fisher person, so didn't really get that that's a thing. And I caught one. Okay? And thank you. And it was at least 10, 15, at least 35 pounds of fish. Thank you. And, long story short, it got away. And I was promptly escorted out of Costco. So I guess the manager didn't feel very good about me and wanting to take a selfie with the salmon. But so, the one that got away from me. 7 of the 12 disciples were fishermen by trade. So it should be no surprise to us that there are many fish-related stories in the Gospels. Now, last week we talked about the water to wine miracle, was only recorded in one gospel. But there is one fish story that is recorded in all 4 gospels. So what we can know about this is that something significant happened. Something significant happened, that it was recorded in all 4 gospel stories, and one of them actually recorded twice with enough variant details that it could have been 2 different events. We don't know. It's the feeding of the 5,000. It could be the feeding of the 5,000 plus women and children, as recorded in one gospel story. Or it could be the feeding of the 5,000, we don't know. But I'm kind of thinking it only matters to the degree. One, if you're a woman or a child, you might be wondering, how much do I count in the story? Also, that could actually increase the number 3-fold, 4-fold. I mean, it could be the feeding of the 15 to 20,000, really, by no real stretch of the imagination, if we're just counting men in the 5,000 plus women and children. But something happened that day. Something significant happened. And I'll remind us that we aren't here to say whether the miracles happened, the miracles of Jesus happened exactly as they were written. We are here to explore why the miracles were recorded the way they were recorded, why they were written the way they were written. Why did the gospel writers tell these stories, and why did they tell them the way that they told them? That's what we're here to explore. So, as the story goes, Jesus went off by himself to pray, and the crowds followed him. 5,000, potentially a lot more than 5,000 people followed him. So just imagine you're trying to get away to pray by yourself on foot. So you're not going real fast, and then droves of people follow you. Now, what's important to know about this is what happened that caused him to want to go away. Because what happened right before that is that he learned John the Baptist had been executed. His cousin, childhood friend, had been executed unjustly. So upon learning this news, it is written, Jesus drew away to be by himself. But the people followed him. So they're all gathered, and there's also a piece of this that he begins to teach, and that's not the miracle, and that's not even like the big part of the story, just sort of in passing. He begins to teach. But the hours pass, and as people do, they got hungry. And they were so far away from pizza delivery, Grubhub, Uber Eats, like centuries away from pizza delivery. And so the disciples were like, what do we do? Let's send them away. And Jesus is like, no, feed them. And they're like, what? We have nothing. Let's pause the story right there. Because there's another fishing story that I want to talk to you about. And you may be familiar with it. It's the cast the nets on the right side of the boat. So the disciples are fishing all night. Being fishermen by trade, they would know, and I learned this, that that's the best time to fish in shallow water because the fish are safe and they will come in by the school, fishing term. They'll come in by the school and feed in the shallow water. So if you fish at night, you have a better chance of catching fish. It's easier, especially if you're in first century Jerusalem and you're using nets and no motorboats. So daybreak comes and Jesus goes to the shore. They're exhausted. They have no fish. And he says, go out into deeper water and put down your nets. They're exhausted. It's been a long night of fruitless labor, no money, right? Is what that translates to. This is their living. And he wants them to go out to deep waters, which it's not where the fish are going to be right now. Not that they're in the shallow water, but this is not the way you fish. And they know this by trade and experience. And he tells them to do this, so they do it. And he says, cast your net on the right side of the boat. They do so, and voila, their net is full to overflowing. And we learn later in the story, 153 large fish. And you could ask the question, what constitutes a large fish in the Sea of Galilee? And I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that in the Old Testament, we know about one large fish that swallowed a person. Was it that large? I don't know, and they left that detail out of the story, but to say 153 large fish. The nets were overflowing, and they didn't break. All right, let's go back to the feeding of the multitudes. You with me? So we're going to pause that story. We're back to the feeding of the multitudes. We have nothing. The disciples have been asked by Jesus to feed the multitudes, the thousands. We have nothing. Are you kidding me right now? We got nothing. And Jesus is like, it's okay. Take the baskets, pass them around. Take the baskets and pass them around. By the time the baskets had been passed around, they were overflowing, and people ate to their fill. All right, let's pause the story. Modern day airplane story. This has been told over and over again of a time in the 70s. I think we have to go back to the 70s when airplane, if you went on a flight, you were going to expect to be served a very good meal, a very balanced, large meal for free. So there's a delay. They're out on the tarmac. The plane can't go back to the gate. It can't take off. And the pilot gets on the intercom and says, I've got bad news and really bad news. The bad news is there's been a delay. We're going to have to sit here for several more hours. The really bad news is we have no food. So, of course, people start to groan. Some people were counting. I mean, you go hungry to the flight because you know you're going to have this really delicious free meal. I mean, for the price of your ticket, which was not what it is these days. So they're groaning, they're moaning, and one of the flight attendants gets on the intercom and says, all right, I've got 2 baskets. I'm going to pass them around, and some of you brought snacks. I know some of you have medical issues, and you can't go this long without eating. Some of you are starving. Some of you have snacks. Some of you have Rolaids. Some of you have chewing gum, Tic Tacs. I'm going to pass the baskets around. Just drop into it whatever you have to share. The baskets go around, filled to overflowing. We're going to pass the baskets around one more time. Now, please take what you need. All right? So we're starting to feel into what's happening here in the miracle. We have nothing. We have nothing. So when we come back to cast the nets on the right side of the boat, they had been fishing all night, and what did they have? Nothing. Jesus, go out to shore, get out of the shallow water, go into the deep, cast your net on the right side. Metaphysically, that represents spiritual depth, spiritual knowledge, spiritual knowing. Cast your nets on the right side. Get out of the darkness of your mind and your own understanding, the long night of despair. Come into the daybreak of the Christ presence and cast your nets on the right side and watch in a moment. It will be filled to overflowing. 153 large fish. The multitudes passed the baskets, and out of what? Nothing. Baskets were filled to overflowing, and people ate to their fill. Metaphysically, fish represent abundance. Makes sense, right? If you see one fish in the water, you're probably going to see a couple of fish, maybe a school of fish, lots of fish. There are even fish that spontaneously spawn in ponds. You might have one of those cute little fountain ponds in your yard, and then next year you've got some fish swimming around in there. You know, ideas are, theories are, maybe the eggs have been carried through the air, we don't know, deposited by other animals. Fish represent abundance. And the eating of fish, this is the appropriation, taking in the goodness, the essence of all that is into the body. So it's not just that the disciples were fishermen, and so Jesus had to speak their language and show them lots of fishing stories in his methods of teaching. But it was their economy. They lived in a fishing economy. So there is also a little bit of subversion happening here. So you know Jesus was really always, I wouldn't say taunting, that might be a little strong, but he was always challenging the Roman Empire and the religious elites of his time. So back to the casting of the nets, 153 large fish. They bring the load, the payload, into shore, and Jesus, by that time, is sitting with a fire, eating his own fish, and he says, bring some of your fish over here, sit down and eat. And that sounds like just a really cool thing to do. Remember last week I said Jesus sounds like a favorite uncle, right? He loves to spin a tale, he loves to feast, he loves to be in community, he loves to hang out. So this seems pretty much on brand. But if we were in 1st, 2nd century Jerusalem and we read that, we would know, oh, there is something going on here, because the fishermen were heavily taxed by the Roman government. Heavily taxed. They had to pay tax on the wood that they used to build the boats. They had to pay tax on the building of the boats. They had to pay to move the fish from the boat, once they'd been caught, to the fish processing place. So by the time they got paid for the fish, there was not much left for a day's wages. You would not eat your fish that you caught. Jesus is saying, bring it here, sit down, have a meal, take it in. And of course, it's the deeper meaning that the truth that we have all around us at all times, we have nothing. Oh, but that's where spirit begins, in the nothingness. In the nothingness. That's where the divine, holy presence of the universe says, oh, I can work with that. I can do something with that. Abundance, spiritual depth, prosperity, having to our fill. The multitudes, the disciples, people on a plane. So what Jesus knew is that there is power in the presence of the Christ, power in the presence of the divine, power in the presence of community. His miracles were all rooted in love, rooted in the idea that from right where we are, we can bring forth into manifestation that which we desire, that which we need. And it's no small part of the story that the disciples were also hungry. In the crowds and the multitudes of 5,000, it's not just everybody else who was hungry, and because we're on, Jesus' little tribe, little posse, we had some snacks. We knew what was going on and we already ate. They were also hungry. Fishing all night, having caught nothing. They were also without. So if we take that in for ourselves in those moments when we feel like we have nothing, that even though I've been on this spiritual journey and spiritual path for a long time, in this moment I feel as though I have nothing, lives the invitation for healing, for love, for the power of community, for the power of the presence, the Christ presence, to be consumed into our spirit. And the result is plenty. The result is having to our fill. Not having just a little bit, not having just a taste, just a morsel, just a crumb, and then everyone else gets a little bit of crumb. To our fill for every single one. Love and miracles. Blessings.
Thank you, Jackie. Love, miracles. settle in for a time of meditation. In the presence of the One, in the presence of the truth, all is healed, all is whole, all is well, all is well. In the presence of the One, in the presence of the truth, all is healed, all is whole, all is well, all is well. In the presence of the One, in the presence of the truth, all is healed,
All is healed.
all is whole,
All is
all is well, all is well,
all is well.
all is well, all is well.
So, with a breath, we settle in to the infinite. We settle into the moment. We settle into the knowing of the Christ presence within each of us. That divine, holy fire. We bring it into our knowing, our conscious awareness in this moment. Feeling the heart space, feeling the mind, feeling the body. If you haven't, I invite you to place your feet gently on the floor, if that is comfortable for you. If not, I invite you to choose a point, the lowest point of your body, and allow it to center and settle into the earth. And breathe in all the way down to your lowest point, all the way into the earth. And exhale. And again, all the way to the earth, another breath. And exhale. And now we bring our attention and our focus to our crown chakra, to the mind, to the highest point, to the tippy top of our head. And in the next breath, we lift to the heavens. And release. Feel the gentle stretch in your spine as you lift again to the heavens from the crown chakra. And exhale. Fully rooted in Mother Earth, fully lifted into divine wisdom. We have created space in the heart, space in our power center, space in which the divine is just waiting to fill us. So we allow the flow that is downward, that is upward, that is all the way through us. We allow the flow. This is the experience of animation, of spirit. It is more than the body, it is more than the soul. It always has been at the very core of your being. This flow is the stuff of miracles. The flow itself is a miracle. It is that workaday miracle that happens mostly without your even paying attention. So we give thanks to the body for doing its work even when we don't notice. We tend to pay more attention when pieces and parts stop working the way we want. So in this moment, we just open and give thanks to the natural flow that is always taking place, even without our care or concern. We give thanks to the persistence of spirit, always animating us even when we give no care or concern. We give thanks to the presence of community filled with lovely souls, present, tuned in, even when we give no care or concern. We notice the power and the faith and the truth always in and around us, even when we give no care or concern, even when we are convinced we have nothing. So in this space, in the heart space, and in our power center, we allow care and concern. We allow the knowing that in this breath and in the next, we can manifest that which we desire. We can bring forward to our fill all that we need. So we no longer resist. We no longer give over to the stories that would have us believe otherwise. We no longer refuse to look. We no longer refuse to lift into the heavens. We no longer refuse to center and anchor down into the earth. When fear would have us curl up in a ball and retreat. No. That's done for now. It might come back, but for now it's done. Instead, we lift into possibility. We allow the Christ presence to do its work in, through, and as us. As we relax, centered, lifted, grounded in the silence.
Yes, we say yes to the miracle, saying yes, we are lifted. Yes to the miracle. Yes to love. So grateful for this time. So grateful for this community. So grateful that the Spirit of miracles shows up right here, today, right now, in the presence of the One.
In the presence of the One.
In the presence of the truth. All is here.
All is here.
All is whole.
All is whole.
All is well. All is well. Sing with us. In the presence of the One. In the presence of the truth. All is healed. All is whole. All is well. All is well. In the presence of the One.
we give thanks for this opportunity to touch the stillness, for the knowing that all is well, for the knowing of truth, for the being of light bearers. We give thanks for the planet. We give thanks for the experience of our humanity and for the knowing that we are so much more. And so it is. Amen. So now I would like to share a little bit. As many of you have already heard, we shared it in our e-news. And there's this beautiful photo behind me, our Reverend Mary Omwake, one of our ministers at Unity Church of Overland Park for 10 years, 1989 to 1999. She made her transition to spirit on April 14th. And so we joined so many in unity in grieving this earthly loss and in knowing and celebrating that her radiant spirit, so much larger than life, continues, magnified, fully in the wholeness of the holy. Fred, would you like to come up? 1989 to 1999. So Mr. Fred Albers joined as assistant music director, is that right, during that time?
Assistant music director, yeah. My great friend, the Reverend Dr. Richard Held,
The Reverend Dr. Richard Held.
hired me as a keyboard player in 1991. He had hired me a couple of times before to come in and substitute for him when he had to be away. And of course, I worked with Mary and met with Mary and went, yeah, here I am.
As did everyone.
Yeah. And then he hired me to be the keyboard player, and to help him develop the band specifically. And so I got to come in and work with him and work with Mary. And then when he moved on, I became the music director. But Reverend Mary was one of those lights. If you knew her, if you were part of this community. She had the ability to tap into vision and then bring everybody along with her. And I think that was one of her great strengths, is that she brought me, she brought Richard, she brought everybody she worked with into it, and we got to work together and create Unity Church of Overland Park. And so I am so very grateful to Mary, and the blessing that she was in my life, and the blessing that she is in this community, and the blessing she has been to Unity as a whole and the whole planet.
Yeah, absolutely. And indeed, the whole planet, and it's been a real honor. And it's really, overwhelming is not the right word, but it's been big. The inflow of messages and emails I've received just from our own congregants who have been here since the Mary Omwake days and are still here, part of our community. Doris and Dwight Briggs were married by her. And to just hear people's stories, but also from all over the country, ministers who had come to seminary or went to seminary because they were introduced to Unity through Reverend Mary. So her reach is just far and wide, and it has been a treasure. I've known this. It's not like this is news, but it has been a treasure that I hope resonates through the ethers to her of how much gratitude is out there. And it was interesting. The last time she spoke here at UCOP was 2014,
yes.
And I shared that talk on our Facebook page. And in it, she talks about her coming to Unity Church of Overland Park. So when she first came to ministerial school at Unity Village, she had it in her mind that she would visit the area Unity churches one by one and choose a spiritual home. She started with UCOP under Reverend Robert Brummett. In school, we called him the Buddha. And she never saw any of the other Unity churches because she just stayed. She found home, and she said, and UCOP and I went on to do something wonderful, something really wonderful. So to hear that, I've been in contact, as have you, with the Reverend Dr. Richard Held, and we will be holding a joint memorial along with Unity of Maui. So the three communities in which she was really a part of will hold on May 15th at 5 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Pacific, and I think that's 11 a.m. Hawaii time. But simultaneous memorial services for her. So I mean, okay, Reverend Mary Omwake, we're going to have a band, or we're going to have fireworks. The board just went, what? What, fireworks? In my mind, we're going to do it upright. And I think the power of those three communities, of the three of us, just being in that together, is really going to be something. Really going to be something.
And as she told me many times, don't say no to the Holy Spirit, board of directors.
Ooh, I'm going to take that. Don't
Use
say
that.
no to the Holy Spirit. You hear that, Tom? So we have, you'll see we have our Christ candle, but we've also had this candle lit to honor Reverend Mary, to represent her radiant light for us. So stay tuned for more details on that, and just know that we are not alone as a community in this grief and in navigating this new way of being connected with her and to her. And we had already scheduled the next song that we're about to hear, Golden Hour, which is just perfect. So we'll do this one for Mary.
Well, it's my honor to do so. My glory days, this is the golden hour before my glory days, on that endless rugged road that tears your spirit down. Open up your eyes, stop yourself, look around, don't you see what's right before you in the midst of agony? Something shining in the dirt, pick it up, glory's free. My glory days, my glory days, this is the golden hour before my glory days. This is the golden hour, although it's covered in dust. There is no greater power than shaking off the husk. Never easy to lift up your broken dreams from the floor, to make a new mosaic and let those healing waters pour. Glory days, my glory days, this is the golden hour before my glory days. Well, it all comes down to this, the hurt, the loss, the pain. When you feel you can't go on, there is nothing left to gain. It's been years of trial and worry, believing in the dream of nothing coming easy. Oh, but nothing's what it seems. Glory days, my glory days, this is the golden hour before my glory days. Whoa, my glory days, my glory days, this is the golden hour before my glory days. What are you made of? What are you made of? What are you made of? Well, it's love, love, love. What are you made of? What are you made of? It's love, 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 love. Ooh, glory days, glory days. This is the golden hour before my glory days. Oh, my glory days, glory, glory days. This is the golden hour before my glory days. All right. Oh, yeah.
up and moving and excited. So, a few little announcements. One is, I think we're all getting used to this, but we will not be having our normal coffee, chai, and tea time by Zoom for the rest of April. And there also is not any YFM meeting for the rest of April after the Sunday services. But really, and that's because we kind of just needed everybody to be able to sign up to come to 2 different open houses here at the Plex Pod. So one of those was last Sunday, but we'll be doing the next one in a week from today, which is Sunday, April 25th. The link to sign up is in the Friday e-blast and also on the Sunday morning e-blast that you get. And you do want to go ahead and sign up because they're trying to make sure that there aren't, too many people. But hopefully if you didn't make it last week, you can make it next week. It's just a really nice opportunity to come here, to look at the Plex Pod, to see everything that is going on in this new, amazing spiritual home. And your energy helps add to the energy of everything here. So please do come and check it out. If you've been missing your Zoom time, you do have an opportunity to do that today, if you'd like to. So the Green Team is hosting a discussion around a video called The 2020s, the Do or Die Decade. Now that sounds probably a little like, why would I want to go watch that video? But we all know that April is our whole month of celebration for our incredible planet Earth. And I was sitting here thinking about Reverend Jackie's talk, and I was thinking, if we think about consciousness raising as the same thing as going out into the deep and casting our net to the right and bringing up that bounty, What if that's what we thought consciousness raising really looked like and felt like in terms of the stewardship that we all own and share in responsibility for this amazing planet of ours? And I know that we all want to take care of her. And we live here in unity with her. And so watching videos like this, sharing in discussions with our community, that's part of what that looks like, I think, is going into the deep, bringing up the bounty, and sharing it with one another for the betterment of ourselves and our planet and living in harmony. So consider doing that today. That would be the Zoom discussion. The video is out there. All of that information is on the e-blast that came on Friday. So consider doing that. And another thing that's coming up, kind of in celebration of stewardship for our amazing world, this planet that we live on, is that we have an opportunity to do some cleanup. So the stream cleanup is coming up on Saturday, April 24th. That's next Saturday, a week from yesterday. We'll be cleaning the stream from 10 a.m. until noon, and it's the East Pinehurst stream, and it's at about 103rd and Glenwood, close to Antioch. If you want more information about how to join this project, if you'd like to kind of jump in and clean up some trash around the stream and just do a little good deed for the day, just give me an email, shout out. So it's Tiffany Crabtree, 341@hotmail.com. You can also go to the Unity website, www.ucop.org, for more information about how to join CleanStream. The more the merrier. We'd love to see you there. It's going to be a great day. Let's see, what other announcements do we have? Oh, yeah, okay, Mother's Day is coming up. Mother's Day is May 9th. So we are looking to really celebrate the divine feminine. And I know that when we think of the divine feminine, of course we think of all of the women that have had influence in our lives. And we do want to celebrate all of the women, our mothers and grandmothers, our aunts and our sisters that have influenced us and helped to make us the amazing people that we are. But we are also understanding that the divine feminine can exist in anybody. That could be our fathers, grandfathers, uncles, brothers, best friends, teachers, whoever. So if you have somebody or many people in your life that really helped shape who you are, that you really want to celebrate this Mother's Day because of the divine feminine energy that they brought forth into your life, then please find a photo of that person. And Deb Philby is collecting photos. You can email a photo to Deb Philby at dphilby@ucop.org, or you can give her a call at 913-649-1750, and you can make a time that you can come by here to drop off an actual photo at the Plex Pod. Of course, she'll get the photo back to you. So that's all in celebration, preparation for the celebration of Mother's Day. And I think those are the only announcements I have for the day. So stay with us because we'll be having a little bit more music, we'll be praying out and sharing our mission vision, our mission. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany. Well, now is the time for our prayer for protection, and so I invite you just to take a moment. And if there is someone in your life that may have either recently made their transition, or someone in your life that may be struggling in any way, just bring that person into your mind's eye. And as we say the prayer for protection, just see them surrounded in God's love and light. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Amen. Amen to that. And so in that knowing and in the knowing of our bounty and of possibility, we speak and affirm our mission statement. The Unity Church of Overland Park transforms lives and empowers people to make a difference in the world. And so, as you've been reminded, there won't be any Zoom coffee time, but you do have the opportunity to tune into Zoom and watch that video with Mike McCord, one of our Earth team, Earth Care rock stars. And so we give thanks for that and a big shout out for that. And with that, we will close with one final song, I Can See Clearly Now. Thank you, and thank you to all who have helped put the service on, and to all who have tuned in via YouTube or Facebook, now or in the future. We bless you, we see you, we love you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. Now I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Yes, it is. I think I can make it now. The pain is gone. And all of the bad feelings have disappeared. And here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Look all around, nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue skies. sunshiny day.